All right. So we're going to start by setting up our InDesign files for our cookbook. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and say we want a new file. We're going to go over here to units and we're going to say inches. And our page size is 8 by 10. Facing pages, I'm going to put on my little glowy screen cursor so that you guys can see. Oops, I turned it off. I didn't mean to do that. So orientation is portrait. We're going to have facing pages checked box. We're doing 4 pages. Our size is 8 by 10 in inches. Now, your page number is not, no, it's the default is 1, but you don't want it to be a 1 because we're doing facing pages, and facing pages start on an even number. Your left page is always an even number. So you can make this any even number you want, but it has to be an even number. And the reason is if you don't do an even number, your pages are going to show up with a cover. Page is page 1. Page 2 will be a left page because it's an even page. Page 3 will be a right page, and then page 4 will be by itself. So left pages are always even numbers, and so you have to adjust your page number to an even number. Now, next step, based on your grid sketches, you want to plug in how many columns you're designing with. So this is going to be depending on your grid sketch that you're going to move forward with. So I'm going to use 5 for mine. The next thing is your column gutter. All of your columns have gutters. I like to match my column gutter with my leading, meaning my body copy leading. So if I'm going to use 11 as my body copy leading, I'm going to make my gutter size also 11 for my grid. Now, margins. Default is to have all the settings the same, and there's a lock right here. I'm going to unlock it because I want to have my bottom bigger because I'm going to be putting a folio in the bottom of my page. So I'm making my bottom 1/2 inch, my top inside and outside 1/4 inch. Actually, that feels a little too small for me too. I think I'm going to make, actually, I'm going to take it back. I'm going to make everything 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to make my bottom 3/4 inch. And the reason I'm giving myself a bigger margin is because this is a book. I want to have room to like have it not so close to the edge of the page. I like to have a lot of white space around the edges of my pages in a book design. So I'm giving myself at least 1/2 inch margin, but I'm going to make it 3/4 inch on the bottom because again, I'm adding my page numbers to the bottom in the bottom margin, and I want to have that extra space. Now, bleed, what that means is if you're going to have any pictures or color or graphic bleed off the edges of your paper, they need to come all the way off to a bleed line. So I would add a bleed line of 0.125 all the way around. So if you decide to have your pictures or graphics or color come off the edges of the page, that's a 1/8 inch is a good amount of bleed. So once I've done all of those settings, I'm going to say create. And this is what your document should look like. Your pages, your facing pages should be right next to each other. You should see your grid. You should see the this red line around the outside is the bleed line. So any artwork that's going to go off the edge of the page needs to come all the way out to this red bleed line. Here's our margin, and our margin is 1/2 inch all the way around, but here at the bottom you can see it's a little wider. So it's 3/4 inch. Okay, is everybody with me? Any questions so far? Okay, let's see any.
My columns aren't showing up.
Ah, so let's go to view. grids and guides. And show guides. Does it say, is this first option show guides? Mine is hide guides because I have them, but if I hide them, this is what I see. If I go grids and guides, show guides, then I see them.
No, it
Did
just
that
says
work?
guides.
What does it say?
That hide guides. Not show guides.
Does
Is there a
hide
way to-
guides? And did you do the guides? Did you do the grid?
Is there a way to change the column number after you've already created the document?
Yes. Go up to layout. Margins and columns.
Columns. There we go.
So, yep,
Thank you.
sure.
Yeah, me, I don't see the red line that is around this paper. I don't have it on mine. It doesn't show.
Okay. So where that would be is when you are, when you're making your new document,
Uh,
you have to do the bleed down here. You have to set it up. And I'm doing 0.125. And then once you do that, it'll show that bleed line will show. Oop, what did I just do? I shut it both off. And I think I accidentally shut them both off. Hold on. Point 125. Did you see it now, Diane?
no.
View. Make sure you're showing your guides and grids.
Yeah, it is. I mean, all my grades is there. It's just the line around the red line around the papers. It doesn't show. So
Did you set it up on the setup? Let's see if we go to layout. Do I do the bleed on here? No, I think it's in file page setup. Document setup. Nope, not there. So when you go to set up a new document, if you just go to File, New, create a new document, like Start Again.
okay.
So you see this? Do you see what I'm highlighting here, bleed?
Yes.
Make sure you're set up in inches. It should have saved everything you've just done. And do you have a bleed chosen of 0.125 all the way around?
Yes, I saw bleed.
And you have a number in there, 0.125
No, I'm
inches?
5. It's 1.5, right?
0.125 inches. Make sure you're in inches.
5.
IN. 0.125 IN. Did you get that?
Yes.
Okay, and it's showing up now?
Yes, it's showing. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, great. So now, next step, just like we did in our grids exercise, we're going to go up here to InDesign Preferences. If you're on a Mac, it's under Preferences, Grids. And if you're on a PC, it's under Edit, and then Preferences.
Yeah.
And just like we did last time, you're going to go 0, Start, top of margin, increment every. This is going to be based on your baseline grid. So whatever you've decided on your type study, that your baseline grid is going to be, your leading is going to be for your body copy. That's what we're going to make our baseline grid. You also want to change the view threshold to 12.5 so we can see it. So the increment every is the same as your leading for your body copy. So this is why those type studies come into play. If you don't know what that is right now, that's okay. You can just use 11 along with me as we learn how to do this, and you can come back and change it at a later time. Okay, so I just made it, nothing happened. It's because I have to turn it on. So I'm going to go up here to View, Grids and Guides, Show Baseline Grid. And now my grid is showing. Okay, you all with me? All right, next, we're going to go ahead and do set up some master page information. So a couple things. We are, hopefully you're still in that typography workspace. I forgot to bring this up earlier. When we did our grid study, we talked about this, but I forgot to mention it. So if you haven't done it yet, here at the top of your window in InDesign is your workspace. So you want your workspace to be typography. If it's not typography, go ahead right now and make sure it says typography in this upper window. Then we're going to be here in the parent pages or the master pages. So up here, down here is our pages we're working on, which is mine is 200, 201, 202, and 203. I'm going to work up here though, where it says a parent. I'm going to select the left page. This is the master page. So anything I do on this page is going to happen on all my pages. So this is where I want to put my first master item, which is going to be a folio. A folio is a page number. That's a publishing term. So I'm going to zoom into my lower corner. And I'm just going to center this. So I've put a type box here. And I'm going to start with putting a page number. I'm going to say page 200. And I'm going to add the name of my cookbook. I'm going to call my cookbook 100 Ways to Use Tortillas. Wait, how do I spell tortillas? Tortilla or one L? Yeah, it feels like it's one L maybe, huh? There's 2 L's. Double check. 2 L's, thank you. It's like, is it 1 or 2? All right, so what we're going to be doing is, and this was a name of one of my class, yesterday's class. They came up with this as their name for their cookbook, which I thought was adorable. So I'm going to use it. So we're going to do page 200, and I'm putting a line between them because there's a 100, another number as the beginning of my name of my cookbook. So I don't want to confuse people. There's my page number. There's my name of my cookbook. Now I'm going to first of all make it my typeface that I've chosen. So it's not going to be the default minion. It's going to be, come on, typeface. this. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna do what typeface? So I think I'm gonna use Gotham, but I'm going to use Gotham a couple different ways. I think I'm gonna make my page number Gotham bold. And I think I'm gonna make 100 ways to use tortillas like thin, very thin. So I have like this high contrast. And then I'm going to make this line a different medium weight. Maybe I don't like the line. Maybe I get rid of that. Maybe I do option 8, a little dot. I think I'm going to do a dot instead. Okay. So then I also can change the colors. Say I'm going to, we'll talk about color palettes in a little bit, but let's assume I have a color palette picked out already. I'm going to use my color palette. Okay. So I have everything the way I want it. This is the way I want it. So I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to bring a guideline down and to create a baseline. And I'll tell you why I'm going to do that in a moment. If you don't have your rulers on, you can't bring a guideline down. So Command R, again, is how you get the rulers. And you just click in the ruler and pull your guideline down. Okay. I'm going to say, this is my layout. See, I only have one side done. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead now and do the magic, which is I want this page number to change to the exact page number of everything here. So like right now, let's say I make it 100. My pages start on 200. But right now, if I go over here, everything is 100 because I made it 100 on my master page. What I wanted to do is change numbers automatically to the page number it's on. So I'm going to select the page number. I'm going to go into my type menu, insert special character, markers, current page number. It's going to change to a letter A. Everyone's, if you're doing this along with me, should be a letter A. And that's because we're on a parent. That's the name of the page. We're on a parent page. And then when I go over to my working pages, you'll see page 200 and 202 are automatically changing because I have it set up here in the master page. But I only have it happening on the left page. We need to make it mirror over here on the right page. So I'm going to use my selection tool, select my copy box, Command C for copy, and come over here to my right page. So I'm going to zoom in. Command V for paste. I'm going to bring it down, line up my text box with the edge of my margin. I'm going to bring my guideline down from my ruler, bring the guideline down, align it with the guide on the left page. Come over here, move my text box so it's sitting on the baseline I just created. Now I need to mirror it. So I need the A to be over here on the outside. Space, there's my A. Make the dot. So I'm copying and pasting. So now I'm going to just select that whole text box, go up here to the top where it's flush left, and I'm going to change it to flush right. Now it's mirroring.
Oh,
Oh, shoot. Did I just pulled it over? I didn't copy it. Shoot. So what I accidentally did, was I copied it over. I thought I copied it. I just think I pulled it over on accident. don't know how I did that, but well, I get to do it again. Any questions while I'm fixing this? Any questions? All right, now we have the mirroring. Oh, I think I still have an extra space. There we go. Okay, so I have them lining up with the margins. I have both my page numbers on the outer edge. And so if I go on to my spreads, you should now see 200, 201, 202, 203. Okay, is everyone with me on that? Okay. Good. Good. So next step is we're going to bring our modules in, just like we did on our modular grid. We've got our automatic page number. We're still going to be up here on the master pages. So go back up to the master pages, make sure you're selecting the master. And we're now going to go back into the couple things. We're gonna use the ruler guides again. I'm gonna go to layout, ruler guides. I'm gonna change their color though, because I want them to be our modules and I want them to be a bright color. So I like to use orange. And so now I'm gonna do a couple things. I'm gonna take my shape tool over here, the rectangle frame tool, and I'm gonna hold it in the upper left-hand corner. I'm gonna hold my shift key down and make a perfect square. Bring it over to my first column. I'm going to just fill it with any color just so I can see it. So there's my square. I'm using it as a measuring tool. So I'm just making it fit my square and I'm going to pull it up to the baseline grid. So it's as square as it can be within this baseline grid. So now I'm using my selection tool. I'm clicking on my ruler and pulling my ruler guide down. It's orange because I've just changed it. Again, I'm going to pull my second one down, creating a flow line. I'm then going to take my green square here and pull it down. And I'm just going to go ahead and use that as a measuring device to pull down all of my guidelines for my modular grid. Pull my green square down. Pull my guidelines down. The reason I do this is because it works with the baseline grid. If I added the guides, the horizontal guides through the layout tool, it doesn't line them up with the baseline grid. And so that has been something that hasn't, maybe they fixed it now with the new, I have to look, but it hasn't been fixed in a while. So we'll just keep doing it manually. Then I delete that square. Now you're going to say, wait a minute, we have this other side to do. Well, all I'm going to do is I'm still in my selection tool. I'm going to make a big box around all of them. And that selects them. I'm going to hold Option C to copy, Option V, hold on. I'm sorry, not Option, Command C to copy, Command V to paste. What's it doing? Command, why isn't it copying them? Hold on a minute, what's going on? All right. What I just did is I selected them all, hold your Shift, Option, Command key down, and you can see how I have it. When I click on that line, the two triangles show up, I'm duplicating them and I'm pulling them over and then letting go. And that's making the lines go all the way across. So that's holding the Shift, Option, Command, all 3 keys down at once, selecting the lines and then pulling them over. Y'all got that? Then when we go on our other pages, you'll see that the module grids are on everything because we built them up here on our master pages. All right. I'm going to stop here